Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Otis,
I'm Jerry.
and it's two guys catching up on football. Our weekly roundup of all things football, both college and professional. So, Jerry, Merry Christmas after the
Yeah,
fact to you.
yeah. Merry Christmas to you,
Yeah,
to
so
our
I got new
throng of single-digit listeners or viewers.
yeah. Merry Christmas to our single digit listeners and viewers. I got a new pair of golf shoes, so that was good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so and this is a pair of those that the slip-ons. So it's they're really nice. So you don't have to bend over to do the heel and stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Just slides right in. So
yeah.
it's pretty good. I like that. So um,
That's
it
easy.
was. It was quite a nothing as far as college goes. I mean, it's they're into the playoffs. We'll get one game on Tuesday and the
Mm,
other three on Wednesday, and so um, we'll see if Penn State
mm.
can do anything with Jonty. So I don't know.
Uh,
He had,
I'm not. I gotta lean towards Penn State in that game. I hope Boise State wins. If Boise State gets beat bad, we're gonna have more of this stuff
yeah.
of, well, you guys screwed it all up. The brackets are wrong.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, so
But
at
it's
least just make it a close game.
Well, when they first did the NCAA basketball brackets, the better team won most of the time, and they won by a lot. So
Yeah.
it's going to be that way for a year. So it's okay. But I kind of sort of look at Jonte as almost like with Saquon, because they both do the same thing. They get four, they get six, they get four, they get 68. And
Yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah.
just like
He
that.
can bust at any time.
Yeah, just like that is a home run at any moment. So, and Saquon is, I think they said he's maybe
101, I think.
101 away. So, but
And they play
oh, they play the Giants.
the
They
Giants.
play the Giants in the last weekend. So,
I've got mixed feelings on that one. I texted you.
right.
Uh, so he'll have done it in 17 games. What we see say Dickerson did it in 16.
Dickerson did it in
I
16.
don't know what Jim Brown's record was in 12.
Well,
So
Brown never got over 2,000, but I
it
want to
makes
say
sense. Yeah.
he got to 15 or 1,612 games
That's pretty crazy.
one year. So,
Yeah, and I'm sure Sanders has got to be up there too. I
well,
imagine.
I want to. I read there was an interview with Dickerson, and whoever had the record, whether it was Sanders or whoever had it, they got it in their 14th game. He didn't get his until the 16th game or a 15th game, something like that. So it evens out. So
Yeah, I mean, I think way those kind of things is. I don't know. I always think of the whole baseball thing of. I thought the right answer with that with home runs is you put an asterisk on some people. Their idea was because some came during the steroid era. Okay, maybe Barkley has the record, but you put an asterisk and just says, "Hey, this came during a 17 game season."
no,
I mean,
because they're always going to have 17 games now, at least.
yeah, it's true.
They're
Yeah,
probably going to go to 18. It'll never
yeah.
go back to 12. No,
Oh, no way.
there's
Yeah,
way
that's
too.
not
It ain't going
happening.
to go
Yeah,
back to 14. It's not going to go back to 16 because
yeah. It's only going to go more.
it's
Yeah,
only going to
I
go
agree.
more because
Yeah.
the commissioner got on a couple of years ago and he gets up there and proudly says, "We have listened to the fans, so we're looking at
Well,
cutting the preseason down to 2 games, but we're gonna add 2 games onto the regular season." That's not what the fans said.
no, that's probably what the owner
That's
said,
what
so
the
they could
owner
make.
said
Yeah, right.
because we're not going to lose 2 preseason games of revenue,
Yeah.
and so we need to add it on to the regular season. So It's
And of course, some of these games now are on Netflix or I don't even know what some of the
Yeah,
channels
and
are
I don't.
anymore.
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix. It's on Prime, and I don't think that they have to share that money. That's not part of the money they have to share with the players. So that money,
Oh, I imagine that's probably true.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that money is probably just going straight to the owners. So
Yeah.
it's just it's uh, at the heart of everything is a money grab.
Money. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a money grab. So.
Yeah.
But since we don't really have college football to talk about today, we'll jump into the pros. And most of these games really were not good. The Chiefs beat the Steelers by 19. It wasn't even close. It wasn't really even that close.
Well, I do with them as well, I mean the Steelers are obviously going to make the playoffs and all that, and
Right.
Tomlin has his winning season. Looking at the schedule, we knew this would be a hard part for them, though.
Oh
It's,
yeah, yeah. It
you
was
know,
going to be
I think
tough.
they still now they play Baltimore next. I think so.
No,
Right?
I think it's Cincinnati.
Well, yeah,
I
still,
think
and now they're red hot. So
yeah. So it kind of depends. Cincinnati. Let's see. Cincinnati can make it in if they win, but Denver has to lose. And Denver's playing Kansas City in the last game, and Kansas City has already said there won't be any.
they're going to rest everybody.
Yeah, there won't
So
be any starters. So there's a good possibility Denver wins. So and then the Ravens beat the Texans, and so that was.
yeah, that score was a little shocking, but then again,
Well, it was
not
31
surprised.
2, so it was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was bad. And the Thursday night game, why even allow that game to be broadcast?
Uh, I
Six,
don't even remember what it
it was
was.
6-3. It was the Seahawks and the Bears.
Won by the Seahawks, I take it.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was 6-3. So, and then now Saturday's games, well, a couple of blowouts. Not a couple of blowouts. One blowout. The Chargers really beat up on the Patriots and they got their way into the playoffs. So I'm happy for the fighting Harbaughs, and so they did well.
I,
And what's the guy's name who used to coach the Chargers?
oh, Staley,
Yeah,
who's now
Staley.
on the Niners. Yeah.
Yeah. So he
What was that stat I sent you, by the way, on Herbert? Had, I
oh
think, the most passing
he's
yards
got the most passing yards in the
of anyone through their first 6 seasons.
yeah, yeah,
That stat kind of blew me away,
yeah.
considering you start throwing in Elway, Manning, Marino, Montana, whoever you want to throw in there. They didn't do that.
Yeah,
He did the
but
most.
that was a time when they didn't throw as much.
That's true
They
too.
ran
Yeah.
more so.
Right.
Very rarely did any of those guys, except for Marino a couple of times, but very rarely did those guys
I
drop
guess
back
you maybe could
30,
argue
40
a little
times a
bit on
game.
that too, as how many of those games were games where Herbert was through for a lot of yards, but they lost by 20.
Oh yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
them
that's
were.
another one,
Yeah,
right?
a lot
It
of
was
them were.
garbage time,
Yeah,
and he's just throwing the ball constantly.
right,
So,
because they had to try to get back into the game, and
yeah.
so yeah, yeah. So and then the Bengals Broncos game was a good game. I watched that one, and
What-
that was a good game.
Now, are we going back to giving Rookie of the Year to Grandpa Bo, or are we sticking with
Oh no,
Daniels?
I'm sticking with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But Bo had a good drive there at the end, so.
right, right. Yeah, so I'm going with Bo. I mean, I'm going with Jaden. Jaden is the rookie of the year, and if it wasn't one of those two, the Malik Neighbors would probably be my next
Yeah.
choice for rookie of the year, or um, the wide receiver with the Chargers who came out of Georgia,
Oh, McConkey.
McConkey. Yes.
Yeah, he's had a good year too.
Yeah,
And he's feisty. Yeah.
yeah, and also Brock Bowers played
Yeah, that's true too. He's had.
played well.
I still remember. Well, for those here, I'm going to share it this time. For those of us, if you are listening for the first time, Otis and I used to work together, and we would talk football every Monday morning. One of our coworkers was a kid from Georgia, or a guy from Georgia, went to school there. I still remember, I think it was 4 years ago, telling that person at work, Brock Bowers is a stud.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
he's NFL ready as a freshman
yeah.
at Georgia, and he's a
Oh,
stud.
yeah. If he gets better quarterback play, who knows
Well, they're gonna
how far he'll
probably
go.
get they will get a quarterback. We don't know. Oh man, I can't imagine what the circus is going to be like if Shadur Sanders is in Vegas. Wow.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
They'll deal with it. They'll
they'll
deal
sell
with it.
tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then uh, until he gets more consistent, he will be the Smurf, no matter what.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that ball bouncing off the receiver's helmet up in the air, that happens
yeah.
to the Smurf. That doesn't happen to Kyler Murray. So
Well, we got, we had a run there. What are we in? Maybe week 13, 14,
yeah,
where we thought, hey, we're seeing Kyler Murray here.
yeah.
I thought last night, I think I texted you and said we might have a Kyler Murray sighting
It's like, yeah,
because the
no,
Cardinals were rallying. Huge game versus the Rams, very
yeah.
important.
It's like,
And he turned right back into the Smurf.
yeah, because he
He,
because he threw a pick on the
oh,
goal line, and then now the second one wasn't his fault. That first one was, he threw it right to the guy,
yeah.
and the
So
second
I'm
one,
gonna.
the receiver never got his hands up, and so I don't blame him for it. However, that's the kind of stuff that happens to the Smurf. The receiver
Yeah, no,
doesn't get his
I
hands
got to
up.
throw somewhere in there. I don't know how we're going to throw Gargamel in there. Maybe Gargamel was in the stands or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
But
yeah.
evil
So.
wizard. Yeah.
And then the Eagles bum rushed the Cowboys, and that was kind of expected. And so it was like, eh. And so
No, I did see. Did Pickett get hurt? I did see I guess, somewhat of
he
a highlight of him. I'm not sure what he was doing. He had the ball. He looked like he was throwing it. Then he kept it. It looked like he almost hurt himself. It was a very odd
he
looking.
got hit in the ribs. He
Okay.
threw the pass, got hit in the ribs. He already had sore ribs. He could have gone back in the game, but they decided to go with the third string kid, and the third string kid looked better than Kenny Pickett did. So he might be the one. The third string guy
Oh,
might be
okay.
the one to play in the last game. He looked a
Oh yeah.
lot better than Kenny Pickett has ever looked. So
Well, we
that's
might get Sirianni and Campbell in the NFC Championship, and we'll see in a coach off on that one.
Campbell.
What am I thinking? The Lions coach? Yeah,
Oh,
Campbell, isn't it?
Campbell. You said Campbell, I
He-
thought.
oh no, Campbell.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, okay. I was
yeah,
like,
but
Campbell, Dave Campbell? He's not even in the
well,
league anymore. So, and then, uh, uh, what's his name? Baker. Baker and
no
the
Baker.
Baker and the Tampa Fighting Bakers.
The Tampa
The
Bakers.
Tampa Bakers.
Uh,
Put a
no,
whooping.
I hope they do get. I think they have a game lead going into next week, right?
No,
Or two,
they're a half game up
on Atlanta.
on Atlanta. But if Atlanta loses tonight, then they got to win next week to get the division.
Okay. I did have to look up because, and I'm spinning off into my world here of, Browns fans, of course. Oh, why'd we get rid of Baker? Oh boy, I sure miss Baker. Well, I had to look it up, but if you go back and look up when Baker was in Cleveland, the fans booed him many, many
Oh yeah,
times,
they
and
did.
they didn't like Baker a lot.
No,
And so, yeah, take your sympathy and oh, we miss Baker.
yeah,
Then shut up.
yeah.
You know,
It's hindsight.
you're part of the reason he left.
Yeah, yeah, it's hindsight. And then we
Yeah.
had we had the Bills beat the Jets by a lot. So Aaron Rodgers got an unnecessary roughness penalty
I,
thrown on him. And so the official laughed when he announced the penalty. He laughed about it. And so I mean he didn't really do much other than he pushed the guy after he was already out of bounds by like 10,
I,
15
I
feet.
can't. I'm gonna. I think if this year and last year were Aaron Rodgers only 2 years as a Jet, that has to go into the top 10 of worst trades of all time
Oh,
because
sure.
he didn't play, and then when he did play, he was terrible, and he's destroyed that franchise is a
The,
mess.
the Jets had a better record with Zach Wilson as quarterback.
Yeah.
And now
I like somebody made a good point. They
that's
said
sad.
Aaron Rodgers, he's too old, he can't run anymore, and he can't throw anymore. So then
Oh,
he just looks for people to blame
yeah.
for his own. He's getting old, and he's got to blame other people.
Yeah.
Dude, just admit it, Aaron. You're getting old.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Yeah. Well, that's enough on Aaron Rodgers. Don't care.
Okay, I always like piling on.
Yeah, I know
So
you. I know you do. So I have to stop you. So we give him too much airtime.
if we're going Aaron Rodgers, I'm bringing out a shovel to start piling
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
on.
So, and then the Giants played well today and beat the Colts, who needed to win in order to stay in the playoff chase. So they're out now.
That's another. You know what? People love Joe Flacco is great. He no, no, he can't do it
Well, now
anymore.
a
Just
few weeks ago, you wanted to bring Flacco back to the Browns.
oh no,
Yeah,
I felt sorry for Colts fans in that one because
yeah.
it's just that Flacco is kind of like Winston now. It is what he is. He's going to get you some TDs, but he's also going to throw you some picks.
Oh
It's just
yeah,
going to happen.
yeah. And then the Raiders beat the Saints, but who hasn't? So it's just
Yeah, and then
yeah. So it's just kind of that's the way it is. And really the weekend, who really gives a rip game was the Jaguars beating the Titans. So
yeah,
that was for draft position.
whew.
I think that.
Well, I'm a little curious as to the Jags as if they keep Trevor Lawrence or if they let him go.
Oh well, I'm sure they'll keep him because he's just been injured quite a bit.
Yeah,
So I'm
true.
sure but I don't think Doug Peterson will be coaching there next year.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the other is I do think Jared Mayo might be out. I think it would be silly. He's only coached 1 year, but I think
No,
they'll cut him
Jared
loose.
Mayo's not going to be out. He's not going to
Oh,
be
yeah,
out.
okay.
No, no,
Okay,
he's not
that's
gonna,
fair to me.
that
Yeah.
that would be surprising to me if he was gone. Now Antonio Pierce,
Yeah,
different
gone.
story, totally different
Yeah,
story.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, Dolphins beat the Browns. We're not going to go there. We're good.
Nah, look,
And then it looks like the Vikings are gonna take care of the Packers. It's
now I gotta ask is because I don't. Now, did the Panthers? Who did they play?
the Panthers played the Buccaneers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they hung with them for a while. It was 7-7, and then all had
And tonight is Atlanta and
yeah. Tonight is Atlanta and the Commanders.
oh,
So,
interesting. Penix and Daniels.
yeah, so it'll be a fun game to watch. I got the
I
Commanders.
can't remember this to me. Was it last year seemed, or even the year before, there was a lot of stuff coming down to the last few weeks. There was a lot of teams alive. This year, to me, seems like we are having a lot of games like Raiders and Saints, where it's just like, yeah, I have the game on,
Right,
but it's like background noise.
right,
I'm not rewinding anything.
right. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not. There's not as many spots up for grabs this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, everything's
This year, instead of the parity that they had last year, there are a lot of teams that have and a lot of teams that are have-nots, and
Yeah.
so it's just been kind of It's just been kind of bad. And by the way, I just wanted to remind you the 49ers do not have a shot at getting
No,
in the
they're
playoffs.
out now. I understand
At the
that. Yeah.
beginning of the season, I know Monday Night Football crew was going, yes, we got the Lions and the 49ers, a rematch from the championship game, and they have got I bet they made a number of calls to the NFL offices. Please let us flex out of this game. Let us have the commander. Let us have the Commanders and the
Yeah, what could
Falcons.
you? I guess I'm not sure what other game today though. What could you have moved? Well, you could have moved Packers and Vikings to Monday
You could have
night.
moved, but
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess. Yeah.
in order to do that, they have to do it 10 days ahead, so that every team
Yeah.
knows that they have one day
I do
more or
give
1 day less.
the Vikings to me are by far the biggest surprise of the year.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're
Yeah,
they're a big
I would have
surprise.
never. I think they have 2 or 3 losses. I would have never thought that.
It's two. They have the
Yeah, I
same
would
they
have
have the
never thought
same
that.
they have the same record as Detroit.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah, they're 14-2. So and they've beaten the Packers. I think had one win in the division. They beat the Bears, and I think they play the Bears next week. So they'll have 2 wins in the division. They lost
All right.
both. They've lost both games to Detroit, and they've lost both games to Minnesota. So that's why they're in third place. So yeah, so this was a short show for us. We didn't have college football to talk about, although I will bring up one thing because I'm totally against it. We texted about it. Please do not make Nick Saban commissioner of college football. They don't
Yeah.
need a commissioner.
No, they
If
don't.
Nick
It's
Saban,
silly. No, I don't even know where this stuff originates.
oh,
Maybe
it was
well, it probably originated from Nick Saban
no, it
himself.
was James Franklin.
Oh, well, they need to just shut the door on that.
Yeah, yeah,
It hasn't had a commissioner.
yeah.
No.
No,
And not
no,
Saban. You can't.
because it'll go back to
Uh,
the 1950s.
yeah,
The
it needs
players
to at
won't get
least
to
be
move.
a
Yeah,
outside third party. You can't have a former
right.
coach, especially an Alabama coach,
Yeah.
as your commissioner.
Well,
No, no,
I
no.
think that's what they need to do for the committee that makes the decisions on who's in the college football playoffs. Because I think there's 3 or 4 coaches on that committee, and I'm not really sure why, but Condoleezza Rice was on that committee. I'm not exactly sure why she was, but
She's been involved. I think why I want to say at one time her name was tossed around. I believe as a general manager for the Browns. Believe it or not, I don't.
no, it was at one
Yeah,
point.
right. I don't know where some of this stuff starts,
Yeah.
or what people are just throwing darts at a wall and see what sticks. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. So, but hey, again, um, thank you for joining me this week. Yeah, we got a short one this week. We'll probably have a short one next week. But well, no, we might
Well,
have
we'll have the playoffs all settled
yeah,
probably.
yeah. So and then
Although still don't understand, did the Rams clinch the division?
no, they had to have some other stuff happen. They had to go way down. They had to go way down in the tiebreakers in order
But
to
who can catch them? Seattle, I guess,
right
huh?
Seattle. So
Oh, but it's Seattle wins, and then they need a bunch of other weird stuff to happen, I
well, for
guess.
the Rams, they won yesterday. Then they needed to have Buffalo. There were 5 games. They needed to have 3 of those teams win. 2 of those were the Browns and the 49ers. So it's like, okay, well, that ain't happening. So they got the 2 wins that they needed to have happen. The third win that they need to have happen or tie is Washington. So if Washington wins tonight, the Rams win the division because even if they
Okay.
lose to Seattle
Whew.
next week, they will have the
Oh,
tiebreaker
that's
on
right. Yeah.
strength of schedule.
Yeah.
It,
Well, the league is, I'm going to guess, will be rooting to set it up so that the Rams in Seattle kind of play for the division
well,
somehow.
they are. They're playing in the last week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but if Washington wins tonight, it doesn't matter if the Rams
Then it's
lose next
over.
week.
Yeah.
It's over. Yeah.
Right.
So, all right, I'm gonna get us started with a little traveling music. This is our favorite song, and one of these days I'm gonna find out what the name of it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. That's another edition of Two Guys Catching Up on Football. I'm Otis.
And I'm Jerry.
And I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a great New Year's Day so that it starts your New Year's off good. So, ciao.
Yep. Peace.